going to be doing some more around the round pen work and really expanding on how long he can do the trot and his cues for trot. So he's looking a lot better. But the one thing that I inadvertently taught by doing this way is that he was lunging from like a position of leading. So then when I went and tried to lunge him, like facing him, like the like front of my body facing him in a normal lunging position, he was very confused because right here I'm in a leading position. This trot looks very, very nice, but um, I couldn't lunge him like I did a normal horse because I had to keep him on the line since he can get out of my arena. And I wasn't quite sure that he was going to stay with me, so I didn't want him running around. And I didn't realize that at the time, but it's really important on where your body position is because they're going to pick up on it, and that's going to be part of the cue if you don't realize what's happening. So for my lunging here, which is technically just leading, my cues were going to be I'm facing forward in the same direction he is. I have my arm up because I'm keeping that arm up above the cones like I am here, that left hand, and then I'm kind of going with him. And then when I stop my feet and I'm facing him, and I didn't have my arm up, he was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, why don't you know how to lunge anymore? It's because my body cues were completely different. So, and I just didn't even notice it. He noticed it, but I did not. So that's a really important thing to think about when you're doing your training. So again, he had a really beautiful trot there, and I'm just right now what I'm trying to work on is adding up the amount of like spaces between the cones that he can go with his trot. So like he can do like one like rail between the cones and then two and then three and then four, and we're just kind of building up his stamina here. So I think he went into the trot on his own. He also came back when I asked him to, and that was a beautiful transition. And then when I asked him to, he did go into the trot, so he can do like two or three rails there, four, five, beautiful. So I'm just kind of going, and then the next time like we'll do six, and until we can go all the way around, and then we can go a few times around. But this circle is definitely big enough for him. I wouldn't do a ton of circles with a full-size horse, but for him, it's definitely big enough. And I wanted just an exercise to do with him where we could be working on something and he could be exercising because he does need to do that. So again, beautiful trot. I love that he's going right into it. He isn't swishing his tail. So that looks really good. He probably is pinning his ears a little bit here, which we're still working on. You just really can't see because I'm in the way. But we're still working on that. And he is definitely more willing to go forward into the trot, and he is offering it as well. So definitely much better than what we had previously. And then we also want to make sure that we can work on the walk, and that every time he doesn't come over here, that he just trots and trots and trots. He does need more like rewarding for the forward than a lot of horses. And then my camera just missed me here, so I kind of ended up it lost me, and then I had to cut back to where I was here. But we were working in the trot, and I think we're gonna go the other way here. But my pivot is not perfect. Most of the time it works well, but it doesn't always follow me, especially when I'm kind of close like this. So we're gonna go the other way. But again, we want to work on the walk too, because I don't want him to just think every time he comes over here we only trot, and he gets lots of rewards for trot, and then he can't really do any other behavior. I do want to make sure he can stand still, he can walk, and then we have the voice cues for each behavior, and then eventually we'll work on some canter. So make sure that the other things are going on, but I am going to reward mostly for trot, but you want to make sure those other behaviors are in there too. He had a really nice halt right there, so that's looking really good. I just really want, like, when I ask him to whoa, walk on, or trot, he does those things, and those are kind of interchangeable.